what's up guys, it's your boy Proxy back with another video. So yes, it's true, I did play 70 hours of Path of Exile 2 over the weekend, and I just want to give you guys some quick feedback on how I feel about the game, my goods, my bads, and I'm gonna just give an overall grade on how I feel about it at the end of the video. But first, before we get started, make sure you guys like and comment on this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's get into it. So let's start off with the bads first. I feel like the loot in the game needs to be toned up just a tiny bit, not a lot. I know they tuned it up a little bit in the patches that they released over the weekend, but I think it needs to be tuned up a little bit more. Not only that, I feel like these trials, man, these trials need to be fixed a little bit. One problem I ran into is my game crashed during a trial. I was on the last door before the boss and my game crashed. Had to do it again. I feel like the indicators on the bosses need to be a little bit more better, and I'm not talking about bosses in particular, but let me give you an example. On the chaos trials of the chaos, there's this modifier that puts a thing on the floor that expands and then it blows up after a certain amount of time. They need to rework it because it was invisible on my floor. I didn't get no footage of it because I was like, in the first, every time a game comes out, like the first 2 days, I try not to make any footage of it because it's just I know it's gonna be a lot of crashes, a lot of stuff going on, and lately a lot of games been having memory leaks, and I don't want that messing up my computer. So I didn't record the first 2 days. This happened and it totally pissed me off because I feel like they should make that indicator stay red the whole time instead of like doing it for a little time and then getting rid of it completely, and then it just blows up and it's like hard to figure out when it's going to do it because it happened off screen because I ran away from it and then I started to come back in so I could attack the boss, and it just blew up and I couldn't really see it on the floor. It was kind of ridiculous. I feel like it's just little things. It's not big things that need to be fixed, but I think that needs to be fixed as well. I think the Trials of the Chaos took me 4 or 5 times the first time around that I did it. It took me 4 or 5 times to like fully understand and like pick the right modifiers and stuff like that. But it wasn't that bad, and I completed that. I got my second ascendancies from my lightning build, but I do understand people's frustration with the trials. I feel like they do need to get tinkered a little bit. It is really hard for people, especially newer to the genre, who's not used to this type of camera angle. A lot of stuff happens off screen that you can't really react to fast, and I feel like it just needs to be toned down a little bit. And this is coming from me. I've played a lot of these types of games, ARPGs. I've played 1,000 hours in Diablo 2, and I have 1,000 hours in Diablo 4, and I have at least 200-300 hours in Path of Exile 2. So take it how you want it. I have a little bit of experience with these types of games, and I was finding it very difficult, but not difficult to the point where I'm just gonna sit here and complain about it. It wasn't that bad. I mean, me personally, I don't think it needs to be tweaked, but I can understand for somebody who's new and doesn't really get the game that well, it needs to be tweaked a little bit. But yeah, that's really all the issues that I've really had in the game that I can think about. Is the game's really not that bad performance wise. Like I did crash in Trials of Sekima, but I had one other crash, but that was only crash because they was doing the server stuff. But I haven't really had no FPS drops. I think a couple of times I ran through the maps, I did have a lot of monsters rubber banding during fights, but it wasn't like something that was like really game breaking. Like it really wasn't that bad, and I'm really happy with the performance side of the game. It runs really good. It looks really good. That was the only issues that I've had. But let's get into the good stuff. The things I like about the game is how many monster types there are in the game. I've never seen an ARPG in a long time that had this many monster types and bosses, and nothing feels like it's copy and pasted. I haven't got to the end game yet where they claim that the end game is just like the monsters are like tweaked and reworked and it looks really good. Like that's where they're saying that you're going to spend the majority of your time. So I haven't got there yet. I'm in I'm almost to the end of Act 3 on my lightning build in the crude difficulty. So I'll be making another video about how I feel about the end game, probably like tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, the amount of monster types and how many bosses they have is just really coming from Diablo 4, where we know that monsters are just and bosses are just copy and pasted all over the place. It feels good for a change to have like a game where like everything's like different, and you don't know what to expect. And this is just the 3 acts. We don't know what's gonna happen with the other 3 acts. That could add a whole bag of different kind of monsters. So we don't even know about that yet. But another good thing that I like is that there's a lot of classes, 6 classes to be exact. How do I feel about those classes? I feel like all those classes bring a lot of diversity to the game, especially when co-op, where you don't have to play with the same amount of people playing the same build. It's just a whole lot of diversity. You might want to have somebody play warrior so you could have a tank while you're doing damage from back with a ranger. It feels nice like that they thought about that like that. It just feels nice because you can get abilities on your warrior that can taunt enemies and bring them to you, and you can soak up a lot of damage, and then you have your ranger or sorcerer in the back just doing all the damage, and it feels good to have that in a game. Co-op is actually really good. I haven't had any issues with co-op. I think the day one we couldn't really connect with each other, but after that it's just been smooth. We haven't had any issues. They fixed all the issues, I think, with the infinite loading screen in co-op, so there's no issues with that anymore. But my overall opinion about Path of Exile 2, I feel like this is a good start for early access. I feel like a lot of people need to understand that we're still in early access. I know that they made you pay for early access, but a lot of us paid for a lot of other games that cost even 20 times more than what they're trying to charge us, and we were happy with it, and we still had our issues with those types of games and stuff like that. So we still got to understand that it's in early access. We still have to give it some time to develop and stuff like that. I like that they're pushing updates really fast. The nerfs that have been happening is kind of unfortunate, but a lot of them are justified. But it just sucks that people got all the way to the end and then they're nerfing the builds, and people got to respect and try to figure. Yeah, it does get kind of concerning, but I don't think people should be really concerned about it, because that's what you have to expect in an early access game. If you're gonna put hours into an early access game, you gotta understand that they're gonna nerf builds, because they haven't had time to really test them. That's what we're doing. We're testing early access. So I feel like we should just give it some time and let the game become great, because it's gonna be a great game. Like, for a free-to-play game like this, you can't really complain about it. My overall review for this game is going to be like an 8 out of 10. I would have gave it a 10 out of 10, but I feel like there's still some bugs that has to be ironed out and stuff like that before I can give it a full 10 out of 10. But 8 out of 10, I feel like is very reasonable, because you're getting a lot for your money, and for $30 you're getting like over 100 hours for the content. So it's like, you really can't go wrong with it. They're fixing stuff quick. I think they said they're gonna take some downtime for Christmas, but that just gives us more time to test out builds and stuff, and they'll come back and I'm pretty sure they have even more nerfs for everybody. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna start leveling up a monk soon, once I get to the end game on my ranger and test out the end game a bit. Or I might just say I might just go back and just try to do a monk just to see how the leveling process is, because I heard it's really bad, but I just want to give it a try for myself and see how it feels. But yeah, make sure you like and comment on this video, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.